love the husband's perspective. Like, hey, obviously, like, this guy's gay, no hard feelings. It's a sight to be seen. He wants to be completely dismissed from the lawsuit. He wants out on the lawsuit. It's still happening. It's still going on. Here he is in a more clear picture of him kissing Andrew Garfield for the same reason.
Reynolds couldn't hold back any longer as his best buddy, Hugh Jackman, dropped some brutal truth bombs about their past.
They've like leaked all these text messages.
Apparently it's been a complete disaster for Reynolds. But let's be real, Jackman couldn't care less, especially after being dumped by Ryan and losing his Marvel gig. Now it all just serves as a glaring stamp on Ryan's messy sexuality, his narcissism, and of course, Blake playing the role of his ever-loyal beard.
Are these two headed for divorce?
Honestly, Hugh Jackman was never meant to be this tangled up in the chaos surrounding the lawsuit involving Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed, and I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
At first, his deposition seemed like a small, almost insignificant part of the story. After all, he was only involved in the skits for It Ends With Us, right? He was dragged into this drama solely because of his connection to Reynolds and Lively's film project.
Hugh Jackman was also in the now infamously cringe It Ends With Us promotional skit that had nothing to do with promoting the movie, which was about domestic violence, where Ryan directed it and he brought in his mom and Blake was in the background. We learned that.
It was supposed to be just a brief moment of awkwardness, a mere formality in the legal process. But that's not how things played out. Ryan Reynolds, the Hollywood darling, seemed to have pulled Hugh Jackman into a far deeper situation than anyone had anticipated.
Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and obviously this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public's face.
Reynolds didn't just invite Jackman to join in on some fun skits. There's a lot more behind his involvement. As the lawsuit deepens, Jackman's name keeps resurfacing, and it's not looking good for the Wolverine actor.
Kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids, and he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources, like financial resources, to trying to convince the public that these bromances are perfectly normal.
The ramifications of this lawsuit might be far worse for Jackman than anyone anticipated, and it's no longer just about legal battles. His Marvel career is now in jeopardy. What's even more shocking is that Jackman didn't just sit idly by. He took matters into his own hands, anonymously leaking crucial details to Candace.
Like leaked all these text messages.
This was Jackman actively pulling the strings behind the scenes. What was his motive? Was he just looking out for himself, or did he also intend to bring Reynolds down?
Oh, he's gay. Oh, yeah, see, straight guys don't say that.
Either way, the message is clear. Best friends don't always have each other's backs. When push comes to shove, they'll tear each other down if it suits them. Jackman's career might be on the line, but he's making sure Reynolds' dirty laundry gets aired out in the process.
Gay guys are great. I love gay guys. There's also bad ones because they're just normal people. I have zero problem. There's nothing wrong with being gay in any way, but he definitely.
Now let's examine the legal strategy that Blake Lively and her team are employing. The whole situation has turned into a contest of concealment, and Lively's team appears to be executing it with masterful precision.
You just wonder if that's also partially the reason why Blake's team is adamant that they need this AEO determination, right? They want the judge to agree to an attorney's eyes only designation to protect, as they term it, highly confidential information that could destroy the careers of the third-party people that are involved.
They tried to designate certain documents as attorney's eyes only, AEO, to restrict access to potentially damaging sensitive information. It's a classic legal tactic, but it also signals just how desperate the situation has become.
They're going like, we need this AEO designation because their careers would be ruined if the public found something out about them. It just makes you ask what truth could be so poisonous to someone's career that if revealed, it would be over.
The judge ruled that AEO designations must be restricted, requiring attorneys to justify why specific documents should remain off limits.
You invest in these people because you think they're telling you the truth, and you would just be shocked by that. So I'll tell you, Judge Lehman has reached a decision about that designation. Now, just to briefly remind you what they wanted.
The ruling has paved the way for further revelations, and it's evident that this decision will have far-reaching consequences.
No one else can see it but the attorneys. And we don't need to go to the judges' chambers to duke that out with it's like if we say it is, you just got to go with us. Essentially, they become their own judges. And obviously, Justin Baldoni's team said, no, we don't want that. We just want this to be like a limited scope, confidential.
It wasn't merely about safeguarding sensitive information. It was about exposing what was really happening behind closed doors.
Regarding Hugh Jackman, in case you were unaware, he recently divorced his wife of 27 years. Her name is Deborah Lee Furness. 27 years is a very long time to be married.
Hugh Jackman's personal life has long been a subject of discussion, but recently things took an even more dramatic turn when his divorce from his wife of 26 years sent shockwaves through Hollywood.
Announced their separation to the public in September of 2023. Now, just to plot that on a timeline for you, that was in the midst of the principal filming for Deadpool and Wolverine, which got abruptly paused in that September due to the SAG-AFTRA strike.
This wasn't just a typical celebrity divorce, it was a media frenzy that fueled every possible rumor about Jackman. Even though the details of their split remain private, speculation continues to run rampant.
Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career. It has been speculated for a host of reasons, some fair, some not. Some people just never really bought into him at the peak of his career, having married a woman that was 13 years his senior.
This time, the public seemed less focused on the breakup itself and more intrigued by Jackman's personal life, particularly his sexuality. Since the divorce, rumors about his sexuality have been circulating widely in the media.
No. This guy is using her as a beard, which is the term that people use when you're in like one of these cover marriages. And like I told you, that accusation, it can be real. In a lot of circumstances, it goes on a lot in Hollywood.
Some sources have suggested that Jackman might be concealing his true identity, pointing to his long-standing close friendship with Ryan Reynolds and his previous interactions with various Hollywood figures.
Anyway, so back to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They're in this bromance at the time that he separates from his wife, and you just wonder if that's also partially the reason why Blake's team is adamant that they need this AEO determination.
This speculation has ignited public gossip, with some even suggesting that the connection between Jackman and Reynolds is more than just platonic. So far, Jackman has remained tight-lipped about the rumors, yet they persist, much to the dismay of his publicist and PR team.
That production was the fact that Hugh Jackman opted to kiss his male co-star throughout this production, even though in the original screenplay, there was no kiss between the male star.
The narratives surrounding Jackman's sexuality appear to have been planted by someone intent on molding the actor's image to fit a specific narrative. Owen specifically highlighted Jackman's relationship with his younger partner, Sutton Foster, as a key element of this carefully crafted narrative. Foster, whom Jackman began dating after his divorce, perfectly fits the mold of an ideal public partner designed to counterbalance the swirling rumors about his personal life.
I'm telling you, this is a PR team doing this, that he was dating his co-star, Sutton Foster. She's the co-star in another Broadway musical that he is participating in. This is called The Music Man.
According to Owens, this relationship might be a calculated move by Jackman's PR team to portray him as a straight, family-oriented man. PR manipulation isn't new in Hollywood. Celebrities often craft specific narratives to maintain their popularity and public image, even when those stories don't reflect their real lives.
They instantly started seeding this rumor like, well, maybe he got divorced because he's in this relationship with Sutton Foster. But then he moved to set up a paparazzi shot.
In Jackman's case, his team is actively addressing the rumors about his sexuality. Nonetheless, speculation endures, particularly as people begin digging into his past. Now let's shift our focus to Ryan Reynolds, who's been dragged into this entire mess, and not solely because of his ties with Hugh Jackman.
in some manner or another, that person is a fraud. So whether it's how they're publicly presenting their sexuality, whether it's how they're publicly presenting their brand, a la Taylor Swift, I'm a nice girl, and then you find out she's actually a really mean girl, that would be ruinous to her career.
Reynolds is currently facing serious allegations from Justin Baldoni, the director of It Ends With Us. Baldoni's lawsuit accuses Reynolds of defamation, extortion, and interference with contractual relations.
Ryan Reynolds did call Justin Baldoni a predator. Remember, they had in their lawsuit said that he went up to a guy that worked at WME. This was allegedly at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere.
The allegations arise from a series of claims Reynolds made about Baldoni during the filming of the movie. According to Baldoni, Reynolds allegedly called him a predator, a claim central to the defamation lawsuit. This is no trivial matter. If the allegations hold up, they could severely damage Reynolds' career.
Sexual predator. And their argument to that is, well, Ryan believed that that was true. Ryan believed that he was a predator, and therefore, this is not problematic because he believed it. The exact language is, the entirety of the plaintiff's defamation claim appears to be based on the 2 times that Mr. Reynolds allegedly called Mr. Baldoni.
In his defense, Reynolds asserts that he genuinely believed Baldoni's accusations were true, which is why he made the comments in the first place. However, this argument is unlikely to hold up in court. The notion that a public figure can defame someone simply by accepting their accusations is, at best, tenuous.
It's actually the strongest part of their argument that's being made, because I will say truthfully, it's a good defense. It's not strong enough to get him dropped from this lawsuit or dismissed, but an actual belief in the claim would be sufficient enough to prove that there was no actual malice.
Reynolds' legal team contends that his remarks should be protected under the First Amendment. However, free speech becomes considerably more ambiguous when it veers into defamation.